Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. And what a video I've got for you here. Yes, we are doing the first Winter 2024-25 seasonal model roundup. So we're going to get 14 long-range models from the world's leading forecast centres to see what they're all showing for the coming winter for the very first time this season. And I should get something for you in a moment. Just to say that first, the video says our 6-7 UK weather forecast. We have got, if that was enough, weekend forecast and a 10 to 14 day with all of the regular features on the way later on this afternoon as well. So please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. And thank you so much everybody for doing that. Thank you so much Richard, Richard Trott, for our wonderful winter updates gear. Thank you so much, Rich. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, my friend. Unbelievable. What a gift. Thank you so much. Right, okay, well, let's crack on with the first Winter 2024-25 seasonal model roundup. Let's do it. Going to start off, as always, with the seasonal roundups with concepts from tropicaltidbits.com. This is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from CANSIPS for winter 2024-25. And it looks anticyclonic here, with a large area of high pressure through the Atlantic into northern and also Western Europe. So an anticyclonic winter being signalled there. Excuse me, everyone. Now, anticyclones can be cold in winter depending on where they're sitting. If they're sitting in the north, so let's say they're sitting around Greenland, Iceland, and over here as well, then they can drive out cold air from the pole. This looks like it's a warm ridge of the Azores High, basically, but built into Western and Northern Europe. So it would be quite a mild ridge, and so the temperature anomaly is actually coming out above average by about 1.5 to 2 degrees. So actually a very mild winter being predicted there. Also a very dry winter, as you'd expect under a large anticyclone. So mild and dry. There would be a chance of like inversion cold with that, of course, frost fog, that sort of thing. The model will not be able to pick up on that kind of low-level cold, but it's not, you know, it's not like a blocked, northern blocking type anticyclone that delivers true Arctic cold. Right, well, we're off and running. Let's go to NASA then from the NMME suite models. Temperature knowledge being predicted to be above average for winter from NASA by about half degree to 1 degree, and also a rather wettish winter as well, actually, in complete contrast to Kansas. So average or above average rainfall. So that looks like it's an Atlantic-driven, mild westerly winter. We've got the GM, the Canadian model, that one also coming out very slightly above average by about, well, by about half a degree to 1 degree above normal, really. And that one, it's sort of wetter to the north and drier to the south. So that, again, looks rather westerly with high pressure to the south and low pressure to the north. Classic sort of winter setup. And then we've got NCAR also coming out with very slightly above average temperatures there. And that one's a little bit on the wetter side again. So slightly wetter, particularly so to the northwest. Again, you notice high pressure is down towards Spain and Portugal, where it's drier than average. Low pressure up towards Iceland, where it's wetter than average. So the mean flow would be generally westerly or southwesterly. All of the NMME suite of models are going for a mild winter, really. This is IRI probability forecast for temperature for winter 24-25. So probabilities are favouring an above average temperature for Ireland, England, Wales this winter by about 40%. Scotland, though, excuse me, the probabilities there favouring a colder winter by about 40 to 45% probability, 40-45% of being a colder than average winter Scotland. But elsewhere, a milder than average winter is favoured with the probabilities, and no particular signal for precipitation either, except northern Scotland. Probability there favours a drier than normal winter by about 40%. And then lastly, for the North American models, we've got CFS-V2, the model that you all love so much. 700 mm height anomaly for winter 24-25 with high pressure south, low pressure to the north, and just generally a westerly flow would be the result of that coming in from off the Atlantic. The model is therefore, CFS is therefore going for above average temperatures this winter by about half a degree to 1 degree above normal, and also a rather wetter winter just to the far west, but otherwise not much of a signal there for precipitation. Overall, though, I think it looks a little bit drier across southern Europe, probably a little bit wetter across northern Europe. So, again, an Atlantic-driven winter is favoured there from the CFS. Right, well, that's North American models. Let's move on to the European models, starting with ECM-WF. This is the sea level pressure anomaly from the ECM for winter 24-25. A mild winter being indicated here with high pressure sitting to the south, and at the same time we've got low pressure up to the north, and that brings in the flow from off the Atlantic. Note a dry and a mild winter is expected with that setup. Temperature anomalies are above average by about half a degree to 1 degree above normal. Sorry everyone, and it's dry on average to our south through Spain and Portugal, where we've got the Azores high. Wetter on average to the north around Iceland, where we've got the Icelandic low. And of course we will get a mix of drier weather, particularly in the south, but also wet and windy weather at times in what will be an Atlantic-driven westerly zonal winter. Meteo France means sea level pressure anomaly showing high pressure dominating across the north and the west of Europe. That is almost quite close to being a colder scenario. The high pressure needs to go a bit further north to be centred towards Scandinavia, but for everything we've seen so far, that will probably be a little bit cooler, I think, certainly in terms of the flow coming in off the continent and potentially bringing some frost and fog. So the temperature is not quite as high with the Meteo France model. Still a little bit above average, but in those pale yellow colours, that's looked to like half a degree above normal, and no signal for rainfall there, but I suppose a relatively dry winter would be expected. This is GWV, the German model, a little bit different again, but anticyclonic. This time the high pressure is sitting sort of to our west, so it's like a mid-Atlantic ridge. Again, not that far away from being cold, but that probably does bring the wind in from off the Atlantic overall. And so a relatively mild winter would be expected, I think, with that setup. Temperature on it's a little bit above average, not a particularly big deviation, and not really much signal for precipitation. But I think both Meteo France and DWD would deliver a drier winter overall. CMCC, very similar to DWD, but the high pressure is a bit further southwards in the Atlantic, allowing in even more of an Atlantic flow there. So that, again, will be a rather milder than average winter. That's what the model is predicting, by about half a degree or so. And it's wetter to the north as well. That could be a little bit more unsettled, with more of an Atlantic-driven flow, allowing low pressure in at times. The ECCC, very anticyclonic again, with high pressure there dominating across much of Europe, actually. Again, the model is going for above average temperatures for this winter, a little bit milder than some that we've seen, half a degree to 1 degree above normal, and it's going for a wetter than average winter to the north, all the low pressure is, dry than average winter to the south. Basically, though, the flow is Atlantic driven. And then finally, for the Copernicus suite, we've got the JMA from Japan. This one, again, the high pressure a bit further north, so the high pressure this time is between Scotland and Iceland, and that perhaps allows a little bit more of a northeasterly type flow coming around the high pressure time. So that could be rather colder. The model is going for sort of average to slightly above average temperatures, lower than quite a few of the models that we have seen though, and a largely dry winter is being predicted there for the JMA as well. Keeping with the Asian theme, we move on to the Beijing Climate Center from China. Again, looking relatively mild this winter. High pressure looks like it's more or less to the south, and so the mean flow will be sort of westerly there. The temperature anomaly is slightly above average, not excessively so, but rather on the mild average side. And rainfall wise, so it looks largely drier than average, I think, although there will be some rainfall coming through at times. And then finally, we've got our very own UK Met Office product. So again, mean sea level pressure anomaly for the winter of 2024-25 looking like this, in line with most of the models, really high pressure down towards Spain, low pressure towards Iceland and Scandinavia. Looks like bringing in a westerly flow. Could be a little bit more northwesterly, I suppose. The ridge is sort of going up towards Greenland to some degree, so that could send a jet stream, a wind flow on a northwest-southeast alignment. That might allow a few cold snaps to come through from the north. But overall, a mild winter is being forecast there with above average temperatures in the orange colours, which is about half a degree to 1 degree above normal. And then finally, for precipitation, a rather wet winter is expected, above average precipitation in what will be an Atlantic-driven rather zonal winter. Right then, so we're done. Well, what do you make of that? Pick the bones out about everybody. Not very good for coldings, but it is only our opening salvo. We've got 2 more of these to do, so we'll see if there's any changes, you know, to the model output, long-range model output, season model output. We'll see if there's any changes in the next update, which we'll do at the end of October. But yeah, we clearly have a trend, quite an anticyclonic trend for a lot of those models, so could be a fair amount of dry weather through this winter, but also Atlantic driven. That's the other, you know, big trend within this particular update, but most of both models are going for an Atlantic flow, albeit the Azores high is reaching into the west of Europe and bringing dry weather, especially so to more southern regions, I suppose. Right, anyway, that's the first season roundup winter 24-25 done and dusted. Thank you so much, Richard, for our amazing winter updates gift. And you're going to see the I think we're up to update number 5 now. You're going to see the 5th winter update tomorrow at 10 a.m. here at GavsWeatherVids. So going to be another true epic, and that will be revealed 10 a.m. tomorrow on Sunday. You enjoy the rest of your Saturday. You've got 2 more updates still to go. Both weekend forecasts and 10-14 days, so come back for those later. For the first winter 2024-25 season model roundup, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.